Madison Washington, the man who seized the slave ship and sailed to freedom. Madison Washington did not wait for freedom to be granted to him. He seized it. In November 1841, Washington was imprisoned aboard the Creole, an American brig transporting approximately 135 enslaved black men, women, and children from Virginia to the slave markets of New Orleans. They were not crossing the Atlantic from Africa. They were victims of America's domestic slave trade, being torn from their families in the Upper South and shipped to plantations in the Deep South. Cambridge University Press. The people chained aboard that vessel knew what awaited them: auction blocks, forced labor, violence, and permanent separation from everyone they loved. Madison Washington decided they would never reach New Orleans. On the night of November 7th, 1841, Washington and approximately 18 other enslaved men rose against their captors. They overwhelmed the guards, seized the ship's weapons, and took control of the Creole. One slave trader was killed during the confrontation, and Captain Robert Ensor was wounded. Zend Project. But Washington's objective was not revenge. It was liberation. After gaining control of the vessel, the freedom fighters ordered the surviving crew to sail toward Nassau in the Bahamas, a British-controlled territory where slavery had already been abolished. 2 days later, the Creole entered Nassau Harbor, carrying people whom American law regarded as property, but whom British law could recognize as human beings entitled to freedom. World History Encyclopedia. American officials and slaveholders demanded that the captives be returned. The British authorities refused. Most of the enslaved passengers were permitted to leave the ship, and more than 100 black men, women, and children stepped onto Bahamian soil as free people. The revolt's principal leaders were initially detained, but they were later released when British officials found no lawful basis for prosecuting them for seeking their freedom. History TV Nederland. The liberation of the Creole became one of the most successful revolts by enslaved people in United States history. Madison Washington did what the slave-holding nation considered impossible. He transformed a vessel of captivity into a vessel of deliverance. He did not own the ship. He did not control the law. He did not possess an army, political office, or government protection. He possessed courage, intelligence, leadership, and an unshakable belief that no person had the moral right to own another human being. The revolt also exposed the hypocrisy of a nation that celebrated its own revolution against oppression while attempting to condemn enslaved black people for doing the same. Frederick Douglass later drew inspiration from Washington's story for his 1852 novella, The Heroic Slave, helping preserve Washington as a symbol of black courage and revolutionary resistance. Wikipedia. Madison Washington's history reminds us that enslaved Africans and their descendants were never merely passive victims. They planned, they resisted, they fought, they liberated themselves and one another. The Creole was intended to carry black bodies deeper into bondage. Under Madison Washington's leadership, it carried them toward freedom. He did not ask his oppressors to recognize his humanity. He took command of his destiny and sailed directly into liberation. Madison Washington, freedom fighter, revolutionary, and liberator of the Creole. His name must never be forgotten. To support the channel, please click the like button and subscribe to receive new videos.